I'm going to talk about Sarvodaya and Professor Dhawan. What is Sarvodaya doing in the title here? Sarvodaya is not used in the normal meaning as used in common parlance, but it has a specific meaning assigned to it. To know the background of this, how this word Sarvodaya came, we have to go to 19th century. This gentleman, George Ruskin, Wikipedia calls him a Victorian polymath, written about 250 books on a variety of subjects, and also on socio-economy. He 4 essays serialized in 1860. It's called Unto This Last, and it came out as a book in 1862. The book is available in Amazon today for little under 500 rupees, and also a Gujarati translation of it. It essentially shows his concern for the poorest of the poor and their need for labor days or wage days, or actually employment opportunities, to earn their bread. Now, this Unto This Last and his concepts were picked up by Mahatma Gandhi in 19. Independence was sort of at sight, and he was looking at how India should develop. Poverty in India was a main concern, and he was not sure employment could be found for all those poor villagers to keep them from starving, and therefore he wanted something to be done. He re-christened Unto This Last as Sarvodaya. Now, so Gandhiji wanted some means with the poorest could employ themselves and earn their bread. He only knew of charaka, or the spinning wheel, but he also knew that it is quite inadequate. Its daily production cannot fetch a decent wage for living. He thought of mechanizing the charaka to improve its production, but found it still not adequate for the purpose. And therefore, he was looking for others to come up with suggestions, but actually none did. Meanwhile, Pandit Jawaharlal was also looking at development strategies, but in a socialistic mode with public investments. The emphasis was on electricity, large irrigation projects, steel, cement, etc. So this was being done. He had actually constituted a planning committee under National Congress, and it appears, was not really concerned about the Sarvodaya aspects. Independence came, and post Nehruian model was vigorously pursued under Planning Commission. Some institutions were set up to support Sarvodaya, Khadi and Village Industries Corporation, Gandhi Gram University, etc., etc., but no great emphasis for Sarvodaya. Concerned people, concerned individuals who were still looking for something to do about Sarvodaya, there was it was told that a group called Bangalore Bombay Group, I call them volunteers for lack of a better word, and this group met alternately in the two cities. One of them became a strong advocate of solar energy. This is actually Professor D.D. Kosambi, Deputy Director of TIFR, whose support for solar energy was to the great annoyance of his director, Homi Bhabha, who wanted atomic energies to be pursued. Worked on extraction of silicon from rice husk. This is Professor Vasudeva-Murthy, which led to a manufacturing unit in Coimbatore. It is rumored that Professor Dhawan regularly attended these meetings, but it is not clear whether he ever spoke about it to anyone. In the early 70s, I was in the campus as a student. The weekly seminars started focusing on technology for rural development. These seminars and discussions became more frequent, and it was said that to look into any rural technology issues, knowledge in different areas of science and engineering are required. To put such people together, IISc under Professor Dhawan set up a cell for application of science and technology to rural areas. Thus, Astra was born. It later became a center and a full-fledged department, and I had the privilege to chair it for about 7 years. A fair number of faculty concerned with rural issues started taking part in Astra activities. Some departments contributed space and the use of some equipment. Few problems like energy, water, building technologies, etc. were identified for investigation. Karnataka government allocated a 60-acre farm 150 kilometers away in a village called Ungra for field experiments. To proceed, however, material, monetary, and technical manpower resources were required. To overcome the resources requirements, Professor Dhawan, with the help of a few, notably Professor A.K. Reddy, established the Karnataka State Council for Science and Technology inside the campus. By the way, Professor Reddy was the first convener of Astra. KSCST is a unique collaboration. It was already mentioned earlier. The unique collaboration between IISc and Government of Karnataka, with a financial commitment from DST, Government of India, with, as Professor Balram mentioned, Director IISc is the ex officio chairperson and vice president of KCST. The other vice president was the finance minister, and chief minister was the president. It was said that when it started, the finance minister was one Mr. Ramakrishna Hegde, and I believe he used to walk to the campus to attend the executive committee meetings. Projects and later progressing further, grants could be obtained from KSCST, which also managed the funds. You could get your request for grants cleared in less than 3 months. Some new initiatives came up very well using the alternative building technologies. There stands tens of thousands of residential dwellings today. The biomass combustion and gasification group today offers reactors to energize megawatt scale electricity generators. A good number of research theses and publications came out of KCSC supported projects. In 1972, as it was mentioned by the earlier speakers, Professor Dhawan became the chairman of the Space Commission. During the first review at TERLS, Tumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station, VSSC was not there yet. An ambassador car running on a lab-produced fuel was shown to him. The previous chairman, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, had seen it earlier. Impressed by the possibility of a petroleum substitute, Dr. Sarabhai had mandated that a pilot plant be set up at Space Application Center at Ahmedabad. The unit was already up and supplied fuel to the center's cars. President Dhawan was impressed by the fuel and gave full support to make further progress. Here was the Sarvodaya project. Tribals and villages would collect the seeds and earn their bread labor. After taking out the oil, the seed residue is a good natural fertilizer for their crops. So, space reaching unto this last. Working of the pilot plant was steady, and now it was time to replicate the efforts in a number of places. A rupees 250 crore project proposal was made, which Professor Dhawan presented during the Lakshman Swami Mudaliar at IIT Madras in 1978. The proposal went through a thorough review process. The cost of aggregating the seeds from the remote villages by his officers had pushed the price of the fuel to rupees 4 per litre, while petrol was available at slightly less than rupees 2. Reviewers decided against this wider field trials. At another memorial lecture in New Delhi, 1982, Professor Dhawan said, "Unfortunately, social wisdom and the application of modern technology do not automatically come together. Choices have to be exercised, and these require, apart from scientific knowledge, social, political, and economic judgment." So, following this review process, Space Crude, as it was called, was dropped from the bus was missed. What a bus it would have been. Today, a company called Nesta Oil, a Finnish company, operates 3 plants, each of 9 million tons per year, producing green petrol, green kerosene, and green diesel from vegetable oils. Their total annual output almost exceeds 20% of the petrol and diesel requirement of India, for example. Honeywell holds the global patents for converting vegetable oils to green petrol. I don't think space patenting this. After his retirement, and just before 2000, Professor Dhawan visited my lab with some ex-colleagues from his earlier secretariat and spent an afternoon discussing vegetable oils. I was then in the middle of a project called Sutra, Sustainable Transformation of Rural Areas, funded by the Department of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, RDPR, Government of Karnataka, and MNRE from I was trying to rekindle the use of vegetable oils for diesel engines. Use is actually is not new, and Rudolf Diesel himself in 1900 had used peanut oil to demonstrate the running of his engines. After asking about where the seeds are available, how much have you used so far, engines are behaving, how the ministries are reacting, he assured me support. While leaving, he said, "Srinivasa, don't give up." It's not easy because as a faculty member, influencing the concerned ministries is very difficult. Luckily, an experienced NGO called Samagra Vikas, working on conservation and ecology of the Western Ghats, came forward to help. National seminars were organized to prepare a draft national policy on biodiesel, which biodiesel is an esterified oil. Meanwhile, other countries got into the arena. ASTM published draft biodiesel standards. Today, many countries have their own standards for biodiesel, which makes it possible to sell the fuel to the public. Bharat Industrial Standards also followed suit. It is estimated that globally about 64 million tons of biodiesel is being produced annually. After endless struggle, Mr. Y.B. Ramakrishna of the Samagra Vikas managed to convince the central government to make the MOPNG, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas, responsible for the biodiesel program. The oil marketing companies started blending biodiesel, though very reluctantly, with diesel. As on January this year, the total quantity blended by them is 160,000 tons, a fraction of a percentage point with respect to national diesel consumption. To conclude, I can only say thank you, Professor Dhawan, for your encouragement. Vegetable oils have come to stay. Thank you, sir.